Rupa Huq.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I rise to support the amendments of my right honourable friend, the member for Walsall, who sadly can't be here today. That's Group 2, Amendments 34, 35, 36 and New Clause 6. They're on ethnicity. It's a health inequality that shapes life expectancy and outcomes, and COVID deaths illuminated this, but it's absent from this bill. A younger me would have been 100% behind this bill. I'm very pro-bodily autonomy on abortion, but 10 years of being an MP has exposed me to coercion, duress, the millionaire price of London property and elder abuse, and it's no coincidence that a majority of London MPs and a majority of BME MPs oppose this, as do I. So let's look at Amendment 34. The experience of my aged parents, now no longer with us, opened my eyes to a world of pills, incontinence pads, hoists, power of attorney, key safe box, carer worries, and I saw how non-native English-speaking pensioners, and I'm not talking about Welsh speakers, have their agency denied by health professionals in a stretched system, maybe unconsciously, as it is. So my mum's GP, who had clear contempt for her accented words, who said to her, one question only every appointment, and that by the time she made it to hospital, frail and losing the power of speech, reverting to her mother tongue, they saw her as an annoyance, time waster, bed blocker. Similarly, the way that the disabled are often written off, people cannot see beyond the wheelchair, the non-verbal. And so this Amendment 34 would place a duty on the Chief Medical Officer to provide information at every step of the way. Do I get more time?
I thank the Honourable Lady. I recognise the time constraint. On the issue of vulnerable groups, you may know that there has been a letter sent on the issue of eating disorders, and the spokesperson for the bill's sponsor dismissed this, saying that their concerns were old news. Do you agree that there's a problem with the way that this bill has been run, that so often the concerns and evidence of groups with issues have been dismissed out of hand?
I totally agree with that. I mean, we know that Esther Ransom wants this, we know Jonathan Dimbleby wants this, but our role is to be voice of the voiceless as well. And so I totally agree with her. And as opposed to the sort of vague, ever-changing qualifying criteria that gets held up as safeguards, at least these amendments would put ethnic minority people on the board. If they're on the board, New Clause 6, they should be on the board as well. But it just seems to have neglected them altogether. So this would provide real protections. And we know that in a cost of living crisis, assisted dying could be quite attractive. We know that BAME communities have lower disposable household income than standard households. And you can just imagine relatives in a cost of living crisis, in a housing crisis, wanting to speed up granddad's probate, to get a foot on the ladder, or granny, or nanny ma, or daddy ma even, convincing herself, or no, I won't, because I'm not getting any more time, am I? Convincing themselves that, look, they'd be better off out the way, given the cost of care, to get the younger generation on the ladder. And once it is allowed, we know everywhere else it broadens. 12-year-old depressed people in Holland can get this. We know that the incentive to fix palliative care will lessen. Why now with the state of the NHS? What of Suicide Prevention Week? Yes, we know that public opinion is for this, but you could say the same. Public opinion also supports bringing back hanging. No, I'm not going to. And look, I've had people pointing out the unfairness at my advice surgery of the cost of Dignitas, 10k. And yes, we know the status quo is imperfect, but let's not remedy it with something that will make things worse. We need to get this 100% right if we're going to do it at all. So this bill, while well-intended, has too much room for error, manipulation, misapplication and unintended consequences. 6 months to live is impossible to predict, and with life and death, it's too late to change your mind once the latter's happened, isn't it? 1,000 doctors this week have argued it will widen inequalities and is simply not safe. These amendments strengthen the bill by taking ethnic minorities into account when hitherto they've been completely unacknowledged by it. They must be incorporated into any assisted dying, but obviously, best thing of all would be not to run down this road, not to rush down this road with indecent haste in the first place, as it's so littered with obstacles.
Here, here.